I lean in close, voice low and warm, the way a true fireside teller does. Firelight Adventures, the secret stowaways of the Queen Anne's revenge. Gather close to the fire, little ones. The flames are low and steady tonight, just right for a long, whispering tale. This is a Firelight adventure, the kind we tell when the night is deep and the stars feel close enough to touch. Tonight's story is about two brothers, Alex, 11 years old, strong as an oak and serious as a storm cloud, always thinking 3 steps ahead, and Chris, 9 years old, quick as a dolphin, laughing even when the waves are high, with a heart so open it makes friends with everyone he meets. Close your eyes if you like, and let the firelight paint the pictures. The year was 1718, and the Caribbean Sea was wild and wide. The brothers had been sailing with their uncle on a little trading sloop when they spotted her, the most famous ship in all the 7 seas, the Queen Anne's Revenge, flying the black flag with the horned skeleton. Blackbeard himself stood on the quarterdeck, beard braided with burning fuses, smoke curling up like dragon breath. Chris's eyes went round as doubloons. "Alex," he whispered, gripping his brother's sleeve. "That's him. That's really him." Alex's jaw tightened. "I see him. And I see 20 cannons and 200 cutthroats. We stay hidden." But Chris was already moving, light on his bare feet, grinning like this was the best game ever invented. Before Alex could stop him, Chris had slipped over the rail of their uncle's sloop and was swinging across on a loose rope, landing cat-quiet on the deck of the great black ship. Alex muttered something very unbrave under his breath and followed, because Alex never, ever let his little brother go into danger alone. They dropped into the dark hold among barrels of salt pork and gunpowder. The ship smelled of tar and salt and something smoky and dangerous. Chris pressed his eye to a crack and whispered, "Look, they're having a feast. They've got roast pig and pineapples and—" "Shh." Alex put a steady hand on his shoulder. "We're stowaways now. One wrong sound and we're shark food." That first night, the ship rocked gently under a silver moon. The brothers curled up together between 2 water casks, sharing one thin blanket they'd stolen from a hammock. Chris fell asleep smiling, dreaming of treasure. Alex lay awake a long time, listening to the creak of timbers and the low, rough laughter of pirates overhead, planning every possible escape route in his head. Morning came with shouting and the slap of bare feet on deck. The Queen Anne's Revenge was underway, sails bellied out like the wings of some huge black bird. Chris wanted to climb up and see everything, but Alex held him back. "We wait," Alex said. "We watch. We learn the ship before we show ourselves." For 3 days they lived like mice, slipping out at night to steal biscuits and water, hiding again before dawn. Chris made a game of it, pretending they were invisible pirates. Alex counted barrels, memorized the watch changes, and noted which pirates looked meanest and which ones sometimes sang sad songs about home. On the 4th night, everything changed. A storm came howling out of the west, black clouds, lightning that turned the sea white, waves taller than houses. The ship groaned and shuddered. Barrels broke loose in the hold and rolled like cannonballs. One smashed inches from Chris's head. Alex grabbed his brother and hauled him toward the ladder. "We can't stay down here. We'll be crushed." They burst up onto the deck in the middle of chaos. Rain lashed their faces. Pirates were sliding across the deck, trying to reef sails while the wind tried to tear them away. Lightning flashed, and there stood Blackbeard himself, soaked to the skin, beard sparking with slow match fuses, laughing into the face of the storm like it was an old friend. Chris's eyes were wide. "He's magnificent," he breathed. Alex saw something else, a huge wave rising behind the captain, ready to sweep him overboard. Without thinking, Alex shouted, "Captain, behind you!" Blackbeard spun just in time. The wave broke over the rail, but the captain kept his feet. His eyes, black and sharp as obsidian, found the 2 boys clinging to the mainmast. When the storm finally blew itself out near dawn, the brothers were brought before him in the great cabin. The walls were hung with crimson silk and golden candlesticks, stolen from Spanish galleons. Blackbeard sat in a huge chair, pistols on the table, cutlass across his knees. "Well, well," he rumbled, voice like distant thunder. "Stowaways, and brave ones, at that. You saved my life, boy." He pointed one thick finger at Alex. Alex stood straight, heart hammering, but his voice was steady. "We didn't mean to come aboard, sir. We just wanted an adventure." Chris stepped forward, grinning even now. "And it's the best adventure ever. Your ship is amazing, Captain. Do you really have a devil on board that drinks rum?" Israel Hand said so. Some of the pirates laughed. Blackbeard's mouth twitched beneath the great beard. Adventure, is it? He leaned forward. Then you shall have it. You'll work your passage like any other hand, but cross me, his eyes went cold, and you'll wish the storm had taken you. So began the strangest, most wonderful month of the brothers' lives. Chris became everyone's favorite. He could climb the rigging faster than monkeys,
laughing all the way up.
He
Learned to tie
every
every knot
knot
Israel hands could teach him, sang sea shanties with the crew until his voice went hoarse, and even got Blackbeard himself to smile, really smile, when Chris did a perfect backflip off the yardarm into the sea and came up holding a silver spoon he'd found down there. Alex worked twice as hard and spoke twice as little. He scrubbed decks until his hands bled, learned to load and fire a cannon in under a minute, and quietly fix things, ropes that were fraying, barrels that leaked. The crew started calling him Little Quartermaster behind his back. Blackbeard noticed. One night he summoned Alex to the cabin. "You've a cool head, boy," the captain said, pouring rum into 2 cups. Alex got cider. "Most men twice your age lose theirs when the powder's burning. Where'd you learn that?" Alex thought of all the nights he'd lain awake worrying while Chris slept. "I just think about keeping Chris safe, sir. That's all." Blackbeard studied him for a long time. A man who protects his own is worth 10 who only protect themselves. The great adventure came when they sighted a Spanish treasure galleon, fat with gold from the main, limping along with damaged masts. Blackbeard's eyes lit like hellfire. "This one's ours, lads." The chase lasted all day. The Queen Anne's Revenge ran like a wolf. Cannonballs screamed overhead. Chris was everywhere, swinging on ropes, dropping burning grenades onto the enemy deck, laughing like this was Christmas morning. Alex stayed by the forward cannon with Caesar, the ship's huge African gunner, loading and firing with calm, terrible precision. When they boarded, swords clashing, smoke everywhere, Chris found himself face to face with a Spanish Marine twice his size. The man raised his cutlass, and Alex was suddenly there, parrying the blow with a belaying pin, then tackling the Marine overboard with Chris on top. They came up spluttering and laughing, best friends already. They took the galleon. The hold was stuffed with gold bars, emeralds big as pigeon eggs, silver plates. The pirates went mad with joy. That night, under a sky full of stars, Blackbeard called the brothers to his cabin again. The table was heaped with treasure. "You've earned a share," he said gruffly. "Full shares, both of you." Chris's eyes went wide. Alex started to protest. They were only boys, but Blackbeard held up a hand. More than that. He reached into a chest and drew out 2 things. A small golden compass that always pointed to what you most wanted, and a tiny silver whistle carved like a mermaid. "The compass is for you, Alex," Blackbeard said, "because you always know where you're going, even when you pretend you don't. And the whistle?" He handed it to Chris. "Blow it when you're in trouble, and the sea itself will help you. A gift from an old sea witch who owed me a favor." Chris's lip trembled. "Does this mean we have to leave?" Blackbeard looked almost gentle. "Can't keep you forever, lads. Your uncle's half mad with worry, and there's a fat ransom on your heads from that trading company. But you'll go with full pockets and fuller hearts. And if you ever want another adventure," he tapped the compass, "it'll point you back to me." They sailed for port at dawn. As the Queen Anne's Revenge faded into the mist, Chris stood at the rail of the little boat taking them home, blowing the silver whistle softly. Dolphins came, dozens of them, leaping and laughing around the boat all the way to shore. Years later, when Alex was grown and captain of his own ship, that golden compass still pointed, not pointing north, but always, always toward adventure. And Chris, well, Chris still had the whistle, and sometimes on quiet nights he'd blow it just once. And somewhere far away, a great black ship with burning fuses in its captain's beard would turn toward the sound, smiling. And that, little ones, is the tale of the secret stowaways of the Queen Anne's Revenge. Now the fire is low, and the stars are high. Close your eyes, and maybe tonight you'll dream of black sails and silver whistles and 2 brave brothers who found that the greatest treasure of all is the adventure you share with someone you love. Sleep tight. The sea will keep our secrets. Good night.